at 2 a.m. with GPT being like, why can't you fix this bug? And I was like, I'm talking to a fucking computer and it literally will not fix that bug. And I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I'm gonna build an AI that builds companies, and then I'm gonna build 1,000 companies with all my ideas. And the dream got really big.
Everyone is building an AI in some way, shape, or form, but there's only a handful of people that are truly building at the fringe of what's actually possible. And today, we're getting to meet one of them.
It's a super ambitious project, and so obviously investors love really ambitious project that can change the world. It's also a very impactful one if you can help the 99% be more of a part of the economy.
I'm going behind the scenes with Ben Broca, the founder of Polsia, a platform that uses AI agents to autonomously build and launch companies for anyone.
The mission of Polsia is really to give a tool that is able to build any business, but also any idea autonomously, setting up a bank account, talking to an accountant doing taxes, to talking to a factory to build something specific, and then plugging into all of these to hiring a human.
Ben just closed a $30 million seed round by making VCs pitch his AI agent instead of him. And his goal is to build the first one-person billion-dollar company. But the question on everyone's mind is, can he actually pull it off?
What you really want is just like Polsia to rip, for you to tell Polsia, hey, like here's my business, just do it. I don't want to babysit you. Your AI, just run for 24 hours straight.
This should be such a perfect indication of the fact that you can do this too. Anyone can do this. AI has just leveled the playing field. Go nuts and build something that the world's going to use. All right, so today we are catching up with a guy called Ben Broca. He's a previously exited founder. He's onto a new venture called Polsia. It is a agent architecture that allows anyone to basically type a sentence in and build a business and have it run completely autonomously 24/7. I'm meant to go on a run in like 20 minutes. He's like a really good runner apparently. So he said he was not that good, which is what every good runner says. He's probably gonna smoke me, so we'll see what happens.
Life of a founder, it's like, I feel like you kind of need to be disciplined because it's such a grind and there's so many ups and downs. You have to find those rituals because like you only do your best work when you feel your best, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's why like it's like important for me to live somewhere that feels right, to have a nice setup, like a nice life setup when I'm working on Polsia. When I'm hustling to create the best experience for my customers, like I also feel good.
Yeah.
I'm also in a good mental state.
It's a beautiful spot. Cheers.
Cheers.
Super hectic run, super hardcore. What's on today? What's going on?
So today is gonna be about, we have a podcast that we're gonna do in an hour. We're actually with a French podcast, going international. Yeah, we're gonna release this new feature called Boost. It's codename Boost. I don't know if we're gonna call it Boost yet. But essentially it's like a way for Polsia to run autonomously for much longer because cost of intelligence is so high. Like, Anthropic OpenAI APIs for the top models are so high. The initial product was just like, you had one task every night, and then like in the product you could ask Polsia to do more tasks every day, one by one, and you can commission Polsia to just like run continuously for hours and hours.
All right, so we are on our way into San Francisco City to go to the office where Ben works at. He just finished up his podcast. It is absolutely crazy that within, like a month and a bit of actually like having this product live, that he's at a 7 million annual recurring revenue. That is just insane. It is like unheard of numbers here, but like in AI, like it makes it possible. And when you see what he's actually building and what he's built for someone, like I'm like, oh yeah, I would use that 100%. Like this is the future. It's just insane.
Can I be?
Welcome to the vlog. How do you guys know each other?
We are French.
French tech scene.
Tech scene.
She's an investor at Google Ventures, and we met in LA, I think, 2-3 years ago at a party.
2 years ago at a party at one of your investors' parties, Sofia Morozo.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. Very excited about what he's building. I think you're really building the future. Some people may not see it now, but it's very exciting. Have you tried the chocolate croissant next door from the fromagerie? Oh my god, do you want one? Let me get you one.
Do you want one?
Sure.
Okay, fuck it.
You're the best
After
one.
telling him that like I fast every day. Hello, bonjour.
Hi, bonjour. In my Australian accent, bonjour.
Français, Australien.
Australian.
Sometimes the universe wants you to eat a croissant and you eat a croissant.
We've been fighting it for we've been fighting it twice on 2 separate occasions this morning, and it's happened. Tell me who that was, what just happened, like crazy proximity, right?
I know. So it's actually, that's an investor from Google Ventures that I met a while back in LA, actually, at like a party that like one of my investors threw back then. And yeah, when I moved to SF, she was one of the people that like I knew, and then we hanged out. And she had the studio in Marina that she rented from me for like a month. So I was in Marina for a month. That's why I wanted to take you here. It's such a cool, peaceful place to get coffee, to get the 4th coffee of the day. And yeah, it's so random that I ran to her, but like it's sort of like that serendipity you get in SF, where you keep on running into people casually, and then it's like, well, yeah, when you want to raise a round, then it's so much easier when you're right there and you can just chat about it over coffee or over croissant, right?
Literally.
And it's like if I was in Paris or in wherever, it's like that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So you can still build great things, but you don't run into those people that like lift you up, that like give you opportunities to like go bolder, go faster, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what you get at SF. That's why it's a magical place. We're getting to Sapium's HQ, which is one of the infrastructure for agent sort of companies I work with to help me scale Polsia without having to rebuild the whole internet myself. So yeah, the idea is like partnering with the best SF AI agent startups that are all getting started and are all building the infrastructure for this future that's now and coming soon.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like working with other people without hiring employees. The thing to think about it would be interesting is sort of like having all these different channels, and so for each one, there's obvious big ones we could target.
Yeah.
It's podcasters. It's like, you know, if it's a late night show, I mean that's more difficult to do. But like, at which stage of the company or which feature we think they could be interested.
Yeah.
Because of course we can wait until they invite us, but like we can also provoke it with our network of people. But we can maybe today is not good, but like if we announce the fundraising, maybe trying our luck to say, who knows, like...
I think the fundraising, we should brute force it on each of those channels because like the story is too beautiful to like not being on all those things, those channels. So, you know, the story is basically sort of founder company raising a shit ton of money and actually the company growing fast.
Yeah.
And I think this should be one of the priority from us, but also the PR agency.
Of course.
To really be sure that we're gonna be pushed on all those different channels.
Yeah, I was thinking, you know, for example, the solo founder journey, and that's something interesting. Like those are obvious moments.
Yeah.
Then there's like features that are like could sound boring, but actually we could turn it into an interesting story.
Yeah.
Right. So we talked about Boost, like it's just a button to get Polsia to be autonomous.
God mode.
But actually, no, let's turn it into, let's call it God mode or YOLO mode or like, you know, like something that's more interesting than Boost.
It's pretty cool to hear how Ben is actually thinking about go-to-market, virality, and customer acquisition. And that is one of the most critical pieces in getting a company like this to a venture scale outcome. But building a product that can actually deliver on that promise is a whole other challenge. And that comes down to the infrastructure partners making it all work behind the scenes. And that was exactly where we were headed next.
Polsia obviously is building an AI that can build and run businesses for the 99%, which means we get a lot of non-technical people that like go to Polsia and ask them for their dream company or their dream project. And sometimes Polsia needs to use a browser to act and to do things.
For those who don't understand, would you mind introducing exactly what the product is?
Yeah, so Anchor Browser is basically an agentic browser automation workflow that allow you to basically automate anything you want on the web without the hassle of are you human or are you bot, and do it as fast as you can. So that's basically what we do, and that way we allow agents to interact with the web in a seamless way.
Polsia is super pumped to be partnering with Sapium, with Anchor Browser, with Blackcell, and a few other companies we're talking to get everyone to benefit from each other, right? Because everyone is building a part of the stack, going very deep in a part of the stack. And like Polsia is like building more like the end product, like the autonomous loops, the orchestrations, the like memory layers, and obviously like the consumer growth, right, which is a big part of like what Polsia does and educates people.
It's so funny, like, you're a solo founder, but it still takes a village, right?
But, you can be a CEO and raise all the capital and hire an army with like the Lord of the Rings, It's like, okay, I'm Frodo. I'm like, guys, I have the ring. But like, I need like you guys to come with me because like we're going to Mordor.
So right now the infrastructure is it's quite a challenge to build, but it's amazing to see that much apps being deployed in a few milliseconds or even nanoseconds. It's insane.
I mean, it's really cool. Like, I love that, we started working on just the sandbox, which, by the way, is a whole thing with like all the security challenges of those agents going wild and like trying to like break everything if they can. And so being able to contain them into the sandbox where it's like, you stay here, you stay in the corridor. Yeah. And also, end of the day, it's about reducing costs for Polsia, which means we can reduce costs for the customer and get more customers.
Yeah, it's the new infrastructure, like only pay on demand. Like when you're using stuff, you pay, but otherwise it's free.
Exactly. So and it's like, I feel like the internet was built for you. I mean, it was built for humans and and all those like web server sandboxes. It was built for a company to build one web server, and so there's like minimum commitment and cost. And when it's just an agent who's spinning up, we're going to launch a feature soon where it's like a user can launch like 10 businesses in parallel and just like A/B test them.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I cannot pay like $10 a month for 10 personal accounts. It makes no sense because actually those are temporary businesses that get built in minutes. So super excited for you guys to sort of like figure out.
At some point, we'll reach the infrastructure problem, probably, where we need to have more servers, but that's our...
More data centers.
Yeah, more data centers.
You guys need to start building data centers so that we can support Polsia's growth.
Exactly. We need to find VCs or I don't know, someone that is excited about this scale.
We met a VC earlier today. She's excited. She's excited. She's going to finance it.
Yeah, and then there's the whole GPU problem. Like that's something we want to tackle afterwards. Like we started with a sandbox, but we want to optimize the whole infrastructure, network-wise, storage-wise, GPU-wise also.
Yeah.
And so that's a whole ecosystem that we want to provide.
Yeah, I love it.
And at some point, we'll tackle the GPU problem with our own data centers. All the network is inside these data centers, so you have the most optimal sandboxing and agentic platform to work with.
Sapium is like the infrastructure that makes Polsia possible. Polsia was imagined and vibe coded by me, but very quickly as the system scaled, it's like, okay, there's a whole infrastructure of like, how do I make sure that like when Polsia agents run, they're secure, it's scalable, meaning if we go from like 1,000 customers to 10,000 to 100,000, it scales. How do we make sure that like agents have all the best APIs and at the best cost, and that they are allowed to use those scales. So that was sort of like the initial partnership. I was like, well, you guys build the payment rails and the API rails, and I'll bring the customers. And it's like we win together. And now we're like buying GPUs. And now we're like, actually, okay, so how do we go from like 7 million run rate to 70 million run rate? How's it going on the GPU side? Yeah, it's still a mess.
Yeah, it's hard to get GPUs, and it's hard to make those GPUs work at like. So we had a good concession today with.
What are they saying? Are they saying like? I feel like it's literally their job to run models.
I told them.
And so it's like, what do you mean like? The top open source model as an issue running on your fucking GPUs. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Just so I can understand, like, for the audience who doesn't understand how this all works, so you're buying GPUs from companies. How does that even work? Are you physically building infrastructure out west to like hold the GPUs?
No, so there is companies who are actually running those GPUs, and they kind of resell the GPUs with the model. So it's similar to Anthropic. You know, when you go to Anthropic APIs, like technically Anthropic is running GPUs to run their model, but there are companies that actually kind of reserve and buy kind of GPUs that they will run for you, and you decide the model that you want to run on those GPUs. So you can decide which open source model you want to run. So they kind of run those GPUs, and then you book those GPUs for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then it's your kind of rack or servers of GPUs, and then you can just send all your traffic. And that's at no cost. You just pay the GPUs. And then it's up to you to optimize it and to leverage all those GPUs. But today, GPUs, it's like a black market. It's almost impossible to get. Every one of those big companies, and they just got sold right away. So we're always competing against people in Asia, people everywhere to get some allocation of GPU. Which is quite interesting. So it's all about connection and pulling investors to figure out how we can connect with the right founders and making the right connections to get some priority.
To get compute, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wild. Is there any sort of advice you'd give a founder who's looking to do something, I guess, a bit similar like this? Like, what would you say to those guys out there?
I mean, what I think is that until you have product market fit, you should force yourself to be alone or a micro team, like you and one other person, and that's it. Anyone on the team, and if it's just you, should use AI all day long, like Cloud Code, Codex, Polsia, whatever you want. And once you have product market fit, try to get AI to replace employees. And what I'm trying to say that is that like it will force you to fully understand where's the edge. And because once you understand what the edge, it might give you ideas to actually the business you were trying to start in the first place. And it's the only way to being able to win in this age is to fully understand the cutting edge. And if you start hiring too fast and then you rely on someone else's knowledge to build, that's where you may lose. And so stay lean, stay solo, and go get them.